Welcome to the new episode of Deadass or Dumbass.
Mm-hmm. Is that our intro? Is that all we have?
Okay, do another one.
I'm not gonna do a new intro.
Hey guys, welcome to the new episode of Deadass or... Is it weird to call it a new episode?
No, I don't think
It's
so.
implied. Welcome to the next episode.
Sure, that works too.
Welcome to Deadass or Dumbass.
Okay. Alright, we've got some stories today. We weren't able to do a new episode because I was on vacation.
Yeah, by the way, how was your vacation?
It was good.
It's good.
Yeah, I thought it was very nice. I enjoyed it a lot. And
Where'd you go?
Hmm?
Where'd you go again?
I'm not gonna say. That's weird. I'm not gonna put it on the internet where I went for my vacation.
Were you the only person that went there ever?
No.
I went to St. Augustine.
Yeah, that's weird to say.
No, it's not. It's a very popular tourist vacation.
Alright, fine.
Destination.
I went to the Keys in Florida.
Oh wow, no one ever goes to the Florida Keys, Finn.
I
Wow,
know.
everyone's gonna dox you now.
Yeah,
Like,
I
wait
know.
a second, only one family, one car, one person named Finn went to the Florida Keys last week.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, all of our 6 fans are gonna do that.
Okay. Hey, you never know. Maybe after this episode we blow up. Thousands are listening to the podcast.
Your sister's gonna know where you live now.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Alright, okay.
So nothing. Well, not a ton of new stuff happened in the recent news cycle.
That's not true. A lot of stuff happened. We're just not gonna cover all of it.
Well, we're not gonna.
We're gonna do a quick cover of all of them.
Well, it was a lot of major stuff happened.
Yeah, but nothing surprising, with the exception of a few things.
Sure. The first thing we're going to go over is Trump's passing of the big beautiful bill. It got through the House a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And,
It was Wednesday, so last week.
Yep. And then it passed the Senate by one vote. JD was the passing vote through the Senate.
And then it went back to the House, and it won by whatever. Who gives a shit?
And yeah, it won by some small margin.
So that's
won regardless.
It's hard to reiterate how bad this is gonna be.
Yeah, it's a terrible bill. It's
The only shining light is that they changed the AI, the lack of AI regulation in the bill.
Yeah, they changed
which is good, but not
it's not
too little.
Yeah.
And
you would have thought that the Democrats would have tried to negotiate
I didn't
something
think
out of the bill,
Finn,
but
these
are
are senators. Democratic senators, are you kidding me?
Okay.
I didn't expect anything from them.
I forgot.
I expected
nothing.
absolutely nothing.
And that's what we got. That is what we got. So
Okay.
your wish came true. Well,
Yeah.
your
What do you mean my wish came true?
not your wish came true, but
my nightmare.
your observation came true.
Well, I hate being right. In other news, the Supreme Court chose the worst time to limit the power of federal courts.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Perfect.
No, that's really bad.
Yeah.
You can tell Finn doesn't know what he's talking about. So, the Supreme Court last week, I believe it was last week, it might have been 2 weeks ago, since someone was on vacation, last week made a decision to not allow federal courts to do nationwide bans on the Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship.
Oh, okay.
Remember that from
Yeah.
his first day
I do
in
remember
office?
that. Yeah.
So that was immediately blocked by federal courts with nationwide injunctions. And so instead of addressing the obvious fact that ending birthright citizenship through executive order is unconstitutional, the Supreme Court decided to say the federal court actually doesn't have the power to do a nationwide injunction.
Yeah.
So they chose the worst time to do this.
Yeah, and when this bill is getting passed.
When this bill, well, it has nothing to do with that.
Not the bill, but everything that's happened.
I suppose in an overall sense, since the bill gives so much money to ICE, now it's the most funded federal enforcement agency, ICE, after this bill passes. It's like 15 times its a normal amount.
Yeah,
Maybe 13 times. Yeah.
There's just a lot of stuff that's really good for corporations. That's really good for
racists.
The top. It's not even like the top 1%. It's like the top 1 of the top 1% that are actually getting significant tax. Getting significant tax cuts. Because I mean, even millionaires and billionaires, they'll receive tax cuts, but it's the actual It's like Elon Musk. It's literally just him that's getting tax. Huge
these
tax
people
cuts.
these people who are Trump voters are going to die because of this bill.
Yeah.
Either it's because of the cut to
SNAP,
the cut Medicaid, Medicare, FEMA,
or
for those those who live in the South, FEMA's going to be a rough one.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, all of those got
There's that flood in Texas right now.
Yeah, and FEMA, I don't think intervened or gave them like accurate information or something like that.
No.
And so like a lot more people died than they should have. Yeah. I saw that. That was
fucking horrible.
That was terrible. And it's just gonna get worse with the bill passing.
And you know what's shocking? This might be shocking, but there's not that much about climate change in Trump's bill. I know. Wow. I know he's a big fan of it.
He is a big fan.
Just not in the way that we want him to be a big fan of it. He loves that climate change.
Well, he doesn't think it exists, so
I don't know. I feel like he said it exists. He said it doesn't exist. Yeah. He goes back and forth depending. On what
just depending
his donors
mood.
Say. It's the donors. Yeah. What else? Trump says anti-Semitic term in one of his speeches. It was the speech that he did after his the big beautiful bill passed. He went to Iowa, and he said he was talking about like bankers, and he said, some bankers are good, some are good, some are Shylocks, and then some are greedy little Jews. He basically said that, and then people the press was asking. Most people see Shylock as an anti-Semitic term. He says, "I've never heard it like that. I never heard it used like that." So that's
if I don't
nuts.
think so, it must not be.
And you know what? No one's gonna call him anti-Semitic.
No,
because he's pro-Israel.
Yeah.
I have state of the month of June goes to Idaho. Idaho. Okay. So Idaho having a rough time. I have 3 stories about Idaho. I just want to read off real quickly.
All right, yeah, you can go through them real quick.
Alan and Reckle Fisher kidnapped in Idaho, suspected to have been taken by an offshoot of the Fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saints. That's a offshoot of the Mormons. 5 days ago, the leader of this specific offshoot of the Fundamentalist Church of the Latter-day Saints is a polygamist and also a pedophile.
Oh, good. Okay.
So that's horrible. And you really got to change that tick that you have when someone tells you something. But, good. I love that. Big fan.
It's my sarcasm.
So maybe get funnier. I don't know.
Be funnier? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Because saying good for a pedophile is not considered sarcasm. Because I'm a normal
just wait until we get to Diddy, I guess. Idaho 2. So Idaho, the second story for Idaho, University of Idaho killer Brian Koberger takes a plea deal, avoiding death penalty. He gets 4 life sentences.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is no court case. This was before the court hearing happened. This is before any of the trial.
Oh, okay.
And he took a plea deal. This happened 3 years ago. The murder. So some people have mixed feelings on it, whether they want to have the trial or not. I've heard from one family. I saw a clip from one family member that they didn't want to have the trial, so they're happy about this. I'm happy about it because I don't believe in the death penalty. So I think this is a good outcome. Well, as good as it could be after the fact.
Yeah.
Idaho 3, 2 firefighters killed in shooting in Coeur d'Alene. So weird. Coeur d'Alene.
Killed in shooting in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Yeah, Coeur d'Alene. It's a weird name for Idaho. 2 firefighters killed in shooting in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Suspect Wes Rowley, 20 years old, found dead on site by suicide. Lured victims in by starting a bushfire, which still rages on. By the time of me writing this, that was a week ago, they put out the fire. Motive unclear yet, but his background in the area may suggest neo-Nazi ties.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's Idaho. That's not that crazy. There's like 12 militias. Coeur d'Alene is a historic site for the Aryan Nation. They used to have their headquarters there, and then firefighters burned it down. So the immediate suspicion was that this was some sort of revenge killing by a neo-Nazi. Though it is strange because he's only 20 years old, so he wouldn't have been alive.
Yeah.
When that happened.
For it, right?
Yeah, this was early 2000s when that happened. What else? Oh, that's the end. That's the end of the short stories. Do you want to do Diddy now?
Yeah, we can go into Diddy trials real quick.
Yeah. Put up the B roll.
Oh yeah, you want me to do that? Hold on.
That's not how this works, Finn.
What?
You're not sharing your screen.
I know. I was.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, dude. Look at that. We took like no time. We were so productive.
We were very.
We were on task.
We knew what we were doing. Oh, I have to go back to that. Okay, I guess that's fine. There we go.
Okay. Just can you put that in loop? Okay.
All right. Diddy.
Okay. So
Scary.
This marks the end of Diddy jokes because it's not funny anymore.
Because now it's scary because he's out there.
Now it's kind of sad.
Yeah. I mean, if you say Diddy like 3 times in a mirror, he might come to your house.
Yeah, he's out now.
Yeah, he's out. He's out and about.
Oh, he's not out. He's still in prison.
He's
but,
still in.
You know, jokingly saying he is kind of out. You know,
like he got out of a life sentence.
Mm-hmm. He got charged with 2 counts of traveling over state lines for prostitution, which is like nothing. The max is 10 years.
For each charge.
And he's not getting 10 years for either. Right?
Well, probably not.
I mean, look how rich he is. He's on the floor there.
He is rich.
So what I know about this case is the makeup of the jury might have a big part to play in why he was found not guilty on the serious charges.
Okay.
The 8 out of 12 of the jury members were male. So a male majority jury might have a part to play here, because a lot of the prosecution's points were regarding consent, and men aren't very good at consent, historically speaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I mean, you can't base it all off on that.
It's not all of that,
jury, on the jury decision.
The prosecution didn't do a great job, obviously, because they lost. But it is partially that. Because the defense main argument was that everything was consensual and that it wasn't for a... Their argument was two-pronged. Their argument was, one, the women were consenting to it, which isn't true, obviously.
Yeah.
But is also sexist. And secondly, that Diddy wasn't a criminal mastermind. He wasn't doing this for financial gain or any advantage. He was doing this because he's a freak. That was their actual argument. They were like, because if he...
That was his...
That was the defense's... That was the simplified version of the defense's argument. They didn't say that, obviously.
Yeah, right.
But, I mean, they did say, our client is a bad person. He's a freak. He's a deviant.
And you should only get 10 years.
Yeah. But he's not getting 10 years.
No, I know.
The thing is the charges that the prosecution gave him were like Mann Act. They were RICO charges. That's like organized crime. Mm-hmm. So they had a bar that they had to meet to show that he was doing it in an organized crime way.
Right.
And they
just didn't.
They say, like, you doing extortion, I guess when you do a crime, an organized crime thing, for the fun of it, that means it's not as bad, I guess, is how the law is.
I guess. I mean, yeah.
Also, he's
I think
rich, that helps. He has really good lawyers.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially if, like, the prosecution, they just didn't do very well.
It's kind of hard not to address the fact that he's really rich.
Really rich? Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to be able to get really good lawyers that do their job, as opposed to, like, public,
defense,
public, yeah.
He's going to be, financially, though, he's not going to be rich that much longer, because one, he can't work in the industry anymore. No one's going to work with him. Mm-hmm. No one should work with him.
No one should work with him.
I hope, God.
He's also like 50, and he's going to be 70.
Yeah. And the civil suits are going to be coming in like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone who didn't want to testify in this in this trial is going to be suing him.
Yeah.
Everyone who did testify is also going to be suing him. I don't know. Pick a celebrity. They might sue him
Honestly,
if anyone who ever interacted with this guy.
Yeah.
Because he seems like the worst person ever.
Yeah, yes, it's because he is. God, there was so much surrounding this, and they dropped the major charges.
The ball so bad.
Yeah, and it's not even like the fact that he's going to be able to get 10 years, because the maximum sentence that could be employed on his stay in prison is 20 years. But he's not getting 20. There's no way he's going to.
No one ever gets the max.
I hope he does. I hope the judge
he deserves that.
Slams the gavel and says,
I would have preferred if he actually got. I wish he would have actually gotten charged on the appropriate charges, but whatever.
Well, yeah. I think we all would have, stood.
If I were on that jury, things would have gone different.
Yeah.
But they just found they found 12 people in all of New York that thought Diddy wasn't guilty.
Yeah.
Everyone else in the country were like, "This is a slam dunk. We all know he's guilty as shit."
Yeah.
Except for these 12.
Except for the 12 people that were up there on the jury.
Yeah.
They found the worst people to do the
jury
the
selection
trial.
must have been a shit show. I really wish they actually recorded this trial.
I would.
Yeah.
I know.
Same thing with Luigi Mangione. I hope they record that.
I also saw that he got down on his knees and was praying.
What do you mean singing? That it's in the
like
sketches.
Diddy.
Look at that. Yeah. See.
Oh yeah. There you go.
I won. I should have won.
Oh my god. Yeah. The Diddy tunnels will never be found.
This makes all the Diddy jokes not fun now.
Because this is what happened. This is what happened. If he got 5 life sentences, that would have been so hype.
Because it's not. It would be. Because now he's not this guy who's gonna get what he's coming, and we can make jokes about baby oil or no Diddy.
Yeah.
We can't make jokes about how much of a freak he is, or that he's bisexual or anything.
Yeah, because if you say Diddy, he's gonna come to your house.
Well, now, Finn, it's jokes like that I'm talking about. It is funny. I will not laugh, but it is sad now because now he's just like this rapist.
Yeah,
he was prowling.
Who's freed?
He's just around. It's like if Epstein was alive and also freed.
Yeah.
That's basically that's what Diddy is.
Well, but of course,
he's Epstein, but he didn't do anything to politicians. That's the only.
Yeah.
He's Hollywood version of Epstein.
Hollywood, okay. Yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah.
We have Alligator Alcatraz.
Do you want to do the ice thing first? The Zormandani?
Oh, yeah, sure. That's a short one. Put that one up, too.
Okay.
Hey, put that clip up.
Yeah, I'll get that up. There we go. So, what do we got?
So, I'm actually happy that you went on vacation, so I didn't have to see your ugly mug. But also because...
That was... I would have left ball.
I was going to have I was planning on having a Zoran Mamdani clip before this, because he's just been in the news cycle after he won the primaries.
Yeah, actually,
right?
he has been. Yeah.
Yeah, which is good. More than he was actually during the primaries, which is strange.
Yeah.
I guess the Democrats and Republicans are mad now that he won.
Well,
and that's the whole
reason why.
And that's what my story was going to be on ultimately. And he had a clip where he was said on a CNN or Fox News or whatever that he thinks billionaires should exist. And I was gonna say based for the entire amount of the podcast.
Yeah.
And but then this happened. So Trump finally made his debut opinion in real life about Zoran Mamdani, and he swung for the fences.
Yeah. All right. Let's play the clip.
Mr. President, your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zoran Mamdani, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zoran Mamdani?
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't...
I hate that... Okay,
he was so quick on it, too.
He keeps saying... He left no time to, build up anything about how he's a communist. This communistic party. Yeah. Did you see what they just did in New York?
What are you gonna do with this pinky?
Yeah. What are you gonna do about this, communist? What are you, a communist?
He's not even in office yet, dude. Jesus.
My man won one primary. You communist.
Guy won
How
a
dare
primary.
you.
But the guy who didn't want to win the primary, he won. Okay, arrest him. Deport him.
Yeah. A guy we didn't like, communist, detain him.
Naturalized citizen doesn't matter.
It's like an actual Darman video. Man wins primary and regrets it. Becomes communist.
You won't believe how it ends. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation. We send him money. We send him all the things that he needs to run a government. And by the way, they get about 3 times what you get, Ron. If you look at the per
this was
capita,
actually-
Hey, this is with the Alligator Alcatraz
crossover,
stuff.
dude. Crossover.
This is a crazy
This is at Alligator Alcatraz when he was visiting.
Oh, this was.
I forgot.
Wow.
Ron was in this.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah.
Oh my. Oh
And he
my
added
God. I
nothing
hate
of
Ron DeSantis
substance.
so much. God, I hate that guy so much. He's so dumb.
Hey, don't worry.
I'm
He's
sorry.
gonna die one day.
Yeah, you could say that about everyone.
Also, by the way, no brand. Not even Zephyr Hills. Can you believe that?
Yeah, he's probably he's drinking like Dasani or something like that, like Aquafina. It's gonna be something dumb.
Why'd they take the label off?
I don't know.
It's weird.
I guess he has like ADHD or something like that, and he had to like peel something off. Right?
He's the president. There's no way he has to pay for the brand, right?
yeah, you can't be sponsored.
This is
by
the same.
anyone.
This is the same guy that sold Teslas on the front of the White House. He doesn't want to be like, well, I don't want to look like I'm shilling for Zephyr Hills.
I don't want to say anything. Yeah, Zephyr Hills is to Florida. I can't.
This guy lives in Florida.
I can't be a part of this.
He goes every Sunday. He goes to Florida. He's in Florida right now.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
He's in Florida right
He's
now.
in Florida right now.
Florida gets 1/3 of what New York gets in terms of the numbers. Why don't you give us those numbers?
Yeah, well,
Because that's what we should send him.
yeah. Well, like sometimes people say Florida gets more because they count Social Security recipients, but that's not money to the state. Those are seniors that live
Right.
here. If they moved to North Carolina, you could count it there. So it has no interaction
Frankly, I
with
don't
the state
give a shit.
government. They get more
I
in the
don't
city
care.
and state governments than we get.
Right. Substantially. We're going to be watching that very carefully, and a lot of people are saying he's here illegally. He's, we're going to look at everything, but
No
and
one's
ideally,
saying that. That's not
he's going
true.
to turn out to be much less than a communist. But right now, he's a communist. That's not a socialist. I've always said we will not have socialism in this country. In the speeches, I said, well, what? They skipped socialism, and you got a lot of them like that. And you see AOC, she's out there with her, bad IQ. She's out.
Yeah, that bad IQ stupid person, that communist.
Yeah.
You remember that girl? AOC, that communist. Oh my god. Did you see how dumb she was? She has like
this-
180 IQ, not even 200.
Dude, this
so
is
dumb.
This is actually this is it's good to see what Trump looks like when he's scared of people. Because he doesn't talk about Chuck Schumer like this.
No.
Because who's scared of Chuck
Well,
Schumer?
who's good at Chuck Schumer?
Well, that's my point. He doesn't
Yeah.
talk about politicians that aren't actually a threat to. Because people,
He
guess
is
what?
terrified of this
Zoran
man.
Mamdani is an actual threat to Trump. He won over
He won over
places.
Andrew Cuomo.
He won over parts of New York that voted for Trump.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh?
he won over those areas. That's what real populism looks like. That's Trump's base. That's
Yeah.
siphoning away. So he has a reason. Same thing with AOC and Bernie Sanders. That's
Yeah.
why he's scared of them. I don't
Yeah.
know if he's gonna do anything legally.
No.
Well, nothing of
course
this
not.
legally too.
No,
Zoran.
I have.
I hope not. for
I
God.
don't think so. Yeah.
I don't know.
No way.
Look at him. He's crashing out.
Yeah.
He's literally in. He's literally in like a concentration camp giving
is.
this. You know.
Yeah. He's. There's just so much.
Everything about the vibes. Are
Yeah.
It's
just
all
bad.
screaming, "I'm a dictator." It's all screaming bad person.
Yes.
If it wasn't for the Fox News logo in the bottom of the corner, I
It-
might have been mistaken.
Okay, well, regardless, what he's saying is bad. But the Fox, Fox News really elevates
Yeah,
the stupidity, the insecurity, perhaps.
that's why I
don't
picked
really
the
know.
clip.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
good.
just the shortest one, actually.
It's
There ranting and raving about how wonderful he is. And look, so far he's winning. He still has a race to win, but so far he's winning, and he has an advantage as a Democrat in New York City. I was there a long time ago, and it was a long time since a Republican won the city. Yeah, but you would think that a Republican would be able to win, or you have a good independent running, Mayor Adams, who's a very good person.
I know, but Democrats have always kind of won over New York. But
literally,
it sounds like he's surprised that a Democrat won in a Democrat.
Well, because he can't say that there's a
state. Well,
he's not smart. Okay, he doesn't understand the concept that all Republicans can't speak about Democrats in a way. They need to talk about them in a way that makes them seem like they're all the same, like they're all like Antifa and stuff. Yeah. Even though there's a clear difference between, like, Cory Booker and like Bernie Sanders. Like they're not, like they're ideologically so different. They're basically not part of the same party. But the Republicans do this thing where they talk about them as if they're both as radical as each other, and they're violent or whatever. And they ignore the idea. This is why it's kind of dumb if a Democrat gets scared by being called a communist. Because they're going to call you a communist if you're Cory Booker, and they're going to call you a communist if you are actually a communist. So who gives a shit?
Yeah. It's literally, it's the Red Scare, right?
Yeah.
It's literally, that's it.
That's all the media. That's the majority of the coverage in media on Zoran Mamdani after his primary win. It's literally been Red Scare.
It's just been
and a little bit of xenophobia, just a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. I guess maybe
people on Twitter are like freaking out because he was with his hands
Twitter.
And stuff.
yeah.
They invented new slurs, you know.
yeah. Non-fork eater.
I think the New York Times ran a story about him. About like they were doing that thing where they're like he's a liar. On his like on some like form for college he was doing the ethnicity stuff. And he put African American and Indian because he was born in Uganda. Yeah. And they did a whole story about it like he lied about his ethnicity.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Which is such non-news either. I hate that we've gotten to a point in the political landscape. That we have plummeted so far to what we determine as news that someone put on their
college. And by the way, it's not like he lied. It's not like he lied.
No, man.
He's never lied about ethnicity. He always says that he's Indian. He always says that.
I don't get the point there. That's just dumb.
Which is actually good because that means they don't actually have anything of value to say. They don't have another form to attack him, I guess. If this is what they're going for.
If that's really what they're going for, or just calling him a communist. I mean, the reporter here, I mean, they just if being a communist was so bad, I don't know what the primaries were doing because he won them. Yeah, and that wasn't an issue. So how did the communist win?
Yeah.
Weird.
I helped him out a little bit. He had a problem, and he was unfairly hurt over this question. He made a statement to the effect that this is terrible. New York City can't have all these immigrants come in. And like he was indicted the following day. And I said, that was a phony indictment. That it was a phony indictment. That was a Biden indictment. I said, don't feel bad. I got indicted 5 times every time you opened your mouth. That was a bad group. That was a very dangerous group, I will tell you. These were not nice people. That was the only thing they could do. They had no policy. They had no skill. They had no anything. But they were very good at that. They were vicious, horrible people. Thank you very much.
So last Trump, I don't know. Trump should stop talking about Biden because it looks like he's beating a dead horse.
He is because he is beating a dead horse,
literally. And it's the way that he talks about Biden. He has to play it as if he was scary, like Biden was an actual threat, but also because he was incompetent. So he's scared. He says he's both incompetent, but also was scary. Like Biden couldn't do anything other than sue him, I guess. Which is just,
I guess,
for his base it works, but for anyone who thinks hard enough about it, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
But that's not the main point. I don't have anything else to say about this.
Don't have anything else to say.
Let's go.
Well,
look,
now
there's that map. There we are.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Wow. Well, how about that? We're going right into where they just were. Yep. Alligator Alcatraz.
Alligator Alcatraz.
Mm-hmm.
It was gonna be an airbase or an airport in the 70s or the 60s, but they stopped construction. Because it's the middle of the Everglades, and you don't want to mess with the Everglades.
Yes. Yep.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah, it is a bad idea because it's a cool place. And
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And also, I swear to God, this, like everything, every human rights violation aside, which we're gonna get to that, this place is not gonna last. It's going to get overran before the end of the decade, because it's the middle of the Everglades.
Also, they built this in like a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Dude, I was originally gonna cover this.
Survive this hurricane.
I was gonna cover this on the pod before Trump even visited. I was gonna cover it then, and then he went, and then it opened. I'm like, whoa. They were.
Whoa, guys.
This is a shit show. This is going to be a shit show when it opens. Yeah. It might be open right now, but but they're not gonna let anyone see how much of a shit show it is. Yeah. Until it blows up or whatever.
Oh yeah, especially.
Or someone escapes, or something.
Yeah.
And then they get eaten by an alligator, or they actually escape.
Or they do.
Either way, it's gonna be bad.
Or it just gets destroyed by like next hurricane season. Yeah. It does not seem
honestly,
like
that's more likely.
That is probably more likely. Actually, hurricane season. Hurricane comes to Alligator Alcatraz. All the prisoners escape.
Here's a sad thing: when the hurricane comes. And it's in the middle of the state, so it's very likely it's going to get hit.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
They're going to leave them there.
Yeah,
And they're going to die.
And then, that's probably... But, like, even...
And then the UN is going to say something like, naughty, naughty.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, what you're doing was... If what we were doing was in the middle of war, that would be a war crime. Straight up. Yeah. And the way the Republicans speak, it sounds like we are in a war with... immigrants.
With no one. Yeah.
The entirety of the immigrant population in the U.S. we're at war with.
Yeah, Casper is dodging every attack that we throw at him. But then we open our eyes and see that there's nothing even there. Yeah. There's no enemy that we're fighting.
It's really... I mean, it's such... This is why it pissed me off so much when Kamala, tried to be hard on the border in her campaign. Because it's like, wow, you really did capitulate to that made-up issue. Good job. You can't beat Republicans on the own thing that they made up.
But yeah. I mean, it's just trying to be more centrist on a topic that that's not what you should.
It's
be
like being
for.
centrist on like the Holocaust. I think both sides had some points. You know. Yeah. I think there's room for negotiation.
Yeah, I mean, I think in that point, well. I would hope most of the senators...
When are you going to stop hoping?
You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah. Let's play the clip.
He's celebrating this passage in the Senate. He's in Florida today. He is touring what officials there are calling Alligator Alcatraz. It's a detention facility of ICE. It's about 50 miles outside of Miami. And if you haven't been there, it is surrounded quite literally by alligator-infested swampland. The president spoke in a roundtable discussion with Florida officials earlier. He spoke about the path forward for this facility. Here's what he had to say.
Very soon, this facility will have some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet. We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation. And a lot of these people will self-deporting back to their country where they came from.
Yeah. So let's bring in CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro, not far from where alligators are swimming there in the Florida Everglades. So is this facility really the blueprint for what the administration wants for an immigration detention facility, not only there, but also all around the country?
Yeah, Reed, good to be with you. That definitely was the message coming from President Trump, as well as Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who called on other states to build facilities like this, though they admit it's likely to be Republican states, such as Louisiana and Texas. And even Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said that this is just one of potentially multiple centers like this in his own state. He said that there would be another site similar to this on a National Guard camp that would hold about 2,000 potential undocumented migrants. So it's something that the Trump administration is open to as they overall look to really ramp up their immigration enforcement activity. You know, we have seen from the quote border czar, Tom Homan, say that the administration wants 100,000 beds to be able to, house these migrants that are detained, as the overall goal for the administration is to deport 1 million of these undocumented immigrants.
Yeah.
So that was the first segment of the new segment, Florida Sucks.
Florida Sucks, yes. Yeah. I think that's good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, right? Yeah, Florida's just a swampland in which we're now just utilizing its natural...
Maybe we could think of a better title for this segment, though. Florida Sucks.
Florida Sucks.
Get me out of here.
Yeah, well, we could just do it like that. The Get Me Out of Here segment. Get me out of the detention facility.
I live in a swamp.
I live in a swamp.
Yeah.
The police officers are alligators.
No. The police officers are unfortunately not alligators.
Honestly, they would
just
probably
assholes.
be better. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's good. I think we have it.
It's kind of a long title.
It is kind of a long title. Doesn't matter.
Oh, I have an idea.
No,
I had a joke. I had a wordplay about Florida having L in it. Florida L's.
Yeah, that's...
Florida's shaped like an L. As a logo, it could work. I can't think of how to do it.
Yeah, that's... We'll have to think about that. You're really trying, though.
I really am trying about it. Yeah. Hey, we have a lot more time on this pod than I thought we were.
Yeah, honestly, I thought...
We're really going through
We do have a lot. Well, I want to get to... We have to get to...
Then how long are you going to talk about it?
I'm not going to talk about SPG that much. But we also have your JD Vance meme.
That's not going to take... Okay, do you want to do that now?
Yeah, we can do that, actually.
Because Ron DeSantis looks like JD Vance?
Yes, yeah. We can do that.
This is my excuse to have JD Vance in the thumbnail. And also, it's funny. We both saw this. I thought I was going to surprise you with this. Because I knew you would be like... Woo! You know, this is your kind of news story.
Granted, I saw the thumbnail. And I saw the description of the video, but I didn't actually...
Okay.
I didn't actually watch it.
All right. I can't give any more talk.
You can't give any more? Okay.
Just cut it.
About 2 weeks ago, a Norwegian tourist named Mads Mikkelsen, who is not to be confused with the Danish actor from the James Bond and Marvel movies, landed in Newark Airport. On arrival, he was detained by immigration agents who demanded access to his cell phone and then denied him entry to the U.S. As one Norwegian news outlet, which spoke to him, reports, quote, Mikkelsen says that after being warned he could face a fine or even prison, he gave immigration officers the PIN code to his phone. He was then confronted with its contents, pictures the officers found questionable. In particular, a meme of U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance portrayed as bald and a private photo of a pipe.
Oh my God.
Specifically, Mikkelsen says the immigration officials objected to this viral meme of the vice president depicting him as a bald baby. This and hundreds like it are all over the internet, as some of our viewers may have seen. Now, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has responded to these allegations. They say Mikkelsen was not denied entry to the United States because of this meme you can see on your screen. CBP says that it was over, quote, his admitted drug use. Mikkelsen says that he told the agents he smoked marijuana exactly twice in his life, once in Germany, once in New Mexico.
That's still
not everyone seems to believe that.
That still wouldn't be a justification to deport him.
No,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's actually terrible.
It's also a lie.
Also,
it's also obviously a lie.
You know what? We could also put that in the Florida Sucks segment that we didn't get marijuana legalized for recreational use.
That does suck, but it's sort of old news, I suppose.
It is kind of old news.
Do we need the closed captions?
The what?
Do we need the closed captions?
No. I mean, they're right here.
No, I mean, like, do you want me to turn them off?
Oh, you can if you want. I don't care. I just left them on.
I'm leaving them on.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
And if anything, suspected censorship of the Vance meme may have brought even more attention to it, which can happen in cases like this. Yesterday, Democratic Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon shared the viral meme of Vice President J.D. Vance on social media. And in fact, that meme, the one you're looking at right here, even made its way to the floor of Irish Parliament.
We're watching a major incursion on freedom of expression, unthinkable in a Western democracy. This week, a young Norwegian tourist detained by ICE at Newark Airport and sent back to Oslo. Why? He had this meme on his phone, Minister. A meme depicting Vice President J.D. Vance as a baby. I mean, extraordinary.
Also, this is a sold-out crowd. There is, like, There's like 5 people here.
Okay, well, there's not a lot happening in Irish
in
politics,
Dublin,
Finn.
I guess. But still, I think it's just kind of funny to see.
Okay, well, it's a
4
proceeding.
family friends.
It's a proceeding about another country.
I know,
doing-
but I would go to see this if it's about this.
Well, I would too. Well, maybe it wasn't on the docket as listed at JD Vance baby. You know,
Maybe it wasn't. I guess.
A young
I guess
person
so.
with this amusing meme on their phone depicting a public person, that this would be used as an excuse to detain him for 5 hours and then deport him back to Oslo.
by the way, that is a horrible.
Again,
not
DHS and CDP deny that's the reason. But, just in case they are not telling us the full story here, please, dear viewers, I hope you take appropriate precautions. I strongly recommend that you do not try to cross the border with this meme on your phone, or this meme, or this meme, or this one.
Oh, that one's.
Oh, I love that.
Oh my god, the
There
last
is
one's my favorite.
absolutely
But all of
nothing
them are
funny
By the way,
about having
our
any
thumbnail.
of these
Yeah,
on your
yeah.
phone. We are just looking out for your own safety here.
We get deported.
Yeah, that'd be such a fire podcast episode.
Maybe we should save that title
We-
though, because we're
What?
gonna need it.
What?
Maybe we should share that name for keep that name for next time we
Yeah.
get deported.
Next time we get deported, like
Well,
we
next
already
time
have.
there's something deported related.
Oh right. Of course.
We put it next to we got censored and we got banned.
We got censored and we got.
Can't wait to use those two.
Yeah, true. That's gonna be a fire podcast. Oh my god, that would be such good content though. We could get deported because of the JD Vance
Man,
meme.
I don't know what you think good
I
content
feel like that's
is.
such good content.
Okay, but we won't be able to record. We barely are able to record under good circumstances. What do you think we're gonna be able to record once you get deported? Also, to where? What? Where are you going to? Italy?
I'm not. Oh my god, we were talking about this off cam.
Yeah,
I'm not
and
getting
I'm not
deported.
giving you
to Italy.
context. I'm not giving the viewers context for this joke.
No, I'm not.
But let me tell you, it's insane. It's pretty good too.
It's not good.
It's a good joke.
No, it's not.
And it's informational. Some people
It is
gotta
not-
know.
That is
People
not-
need to know.
That's not information.
Yes,
what
it
are
is.
you talking about for information?
People need to know about this.
Right.
This
yeah,
little
yeah, okay.
tidbit about the nation state of Italy.
Okay.
You know,
He is
L after L.
L after
Inventing
L, okay.
fascism. It's pretty bad.
Right.
I haven't forgiven you for that.
This guy did. Will hold grudges to the end of his life.
Where would you want to be deported though?
Ireland.
I was gonna choose Ireland too.
Yeah. Ireland would be a really good place to get deported to. Or like Iceland. Iceland's also really nice.
Ireland's nice. EU member. That's a
That's
benefit.
that's pretty good.
You live on an island. I don't know what
Yeah.
people are saying. But my last name matches, so that's good. There's like
Sure.
5 street. There's like probably 200 streets with my last name.
Mm-hmm.
And I own all of them.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
It was like that. It's like that scam that people, all the YouTubers had ads for. What was it, like established titles or something?
Oh. There's a lot of scams on YouTube though. So.
Yeah. Anyway, this episode of the Dead Ass or Dumbass podcast is sponsored by what is it, Honey or something?
Honey? Yeah, it's Honey.
It's Honey.
Yeah. Or what's the therapy one?
Oh.
Do you remember the therapy one too?
It's
It's like BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
Is it BetterHelp?
That's it. Yeah,
it's BetterHelp. Yeah.
It's also sponsored by BetterHelp.
It's also sponsored. Yeah, baby. Yep. That's all of us, right? Yeah, because we go and get BetterHelp, and then when we go and buy BetterHelp, we use Honey to find those discounts.
Yes. And with the money I saved using Honey, I bought a piece of land, allegedly, and also trees planted, allegedly.
Yeah. Right. There you go. Okay, that works.
Then I bought crypto.
Okay.
Oh, last one. Sports betting.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not a scam.
Yes, it is. You're not gonna make money. It is a scam.
It's not a scam because technically you can win something.
Okay. Just because the Supreme Court says it's not a scam doesn't mean they're right, Finn.
That's just.
It's
It's
right.
probability.
You know I'm right.
It's based on probability.
But
there's a chance that you could win.
they always make more money than you. That's just how it works.
Yes, they
It's a
always
scam.
do.
It's like going to a casino and thinking, I'm going to be richer than the house. I'm going to beat the house by the end of tonight. Yeah, that's not how that works. You're basically playing slot machines. It's not. You're not going to win.
Okay, fine. Okay, yeah, okay.
What was the? Oh, what's the last thing? Your thing. It's your segment.
Yeah.
Make sure to share the screen.
Yeah. I wanted to go over this because I think it's fun, and I think it's a it's not. Yeah. It's a fun thing because it's cool. I think it's very cool.
What time are we at?
45 minutes. So I'll spend like 5 minutes on this real quick because it's drama. It's drama, and I think all of you is like drama. So, yeah. Okay. Stop Killing Games movement is an initiative that was based out of EU that was made by a YouTuber, and this YouTuber, he had been doing it previously for a while, and he wanted to preserve video games. He had petition, because this is a petition, because apparently petitions work like really good in EU as compared to America, where you can wipe your butthole with it, right?
Sometimes we vote for something and it gets more than 50 votes, and we still can't smoke marijuana.
And we still can't smoke marijuana for recreational use.
It's messed up.
That just belittles petitions even more.
Forget
with that.
Petitions, democracy doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, right now, right? Yeah. Yeah. But at the very least, the king over there is actually doing better than a democracy here, and in that. Yeah.
They don't all have kings. Most of them don't have kings.
Well, most of them don't have kings.
There's just the UK.
It's just the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It doesn't matter. Petitions work over there, and we needed to get to 1 million signatures on the petition, which we've exceeded now. It's up to 1.2 million. We need more signatures on it, but essentially what it does, I'll just read the first line. Stop Killing Games as a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games that have been sold to customers. So essentially this example has been being used literally everywhere, but it's a game called The Crew. Essentially, Ubisoft, they pulled the plug on it, and then everyone who had access to it, regardless if they wanted to play the multiplayer or not, if they didn't want to play the multiplayer and wanted to play the offline mode, you couldn't play it at all. And the multiplayer, by the way, was like 30% of the game. The other, 66%, I can do math, 70%, is completely gone. You couldn't play it also. And that's what kind of started this whole movement. But there was someone, Pirate Software, this is like the drama piece, right? He's a developer, streamer, in which he makes video games online and gives tips, and he has and goes through video games and whatever. He made a very destructive piece. Yeah, there you go. Destructive piece of content about it, in which he also made 2 videos about it, going over it and demolishing it, right? And it stopped at about 400
expose kind of thing.
Right. But all of it was fake, and he just misunderstood everything. Everything he said was just wrong.
Misunderstood how? For our audience.
So, for example, he said in his video that the initiative is wanting to turn games, for example, if it's a live service game or an MMO, right, WoW, World of Warcraft, they would be turning those huge games into single player games, which is not true. What the initiative is supposed to do is to have an end of life plan when games are sunsetting or ending, and the developer doesn't want to put any more patches or any more support into the video game. So there's stuff you can do, you can give server binaries, so you can host your own private servers and that kind of thing.
They give it to the fandom.
Right, yes. They wanted to give it to the consumers so they can still play. It's just a preservation game initiative. It's only good. That's it. So if you happen to be in the UK,
it seems like it's very basic.
Yeah, it's very
consumer
basic.
protections.
Yeah.
Because it's it is. Video games are a new kind of product, so there's not a lot of existing regulation around it.
Right.
Even though
there should have been, but we don't
I suppose
have
online games are kind of new. We should have had regulation on this. We should have already had 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because it's not... Video games are new. They're not that new.
No.
And what is new, though, is this concept of companies being able to destroy games that people paid for.
And then you can't access the game.
Yeah.
Right.
taking away access. It's not exactly, it's not the same concept, but it is the same theme, or it's the same idea behind what Nintendo does, what Nintendo is going towards with not actually owning games.
Well, Ubisoft was the first one that was like,
of course,
you don't actually own your games.
Yeah,
you have to be comfortable with the fact that you don't own your games, and you are just licensing stuff. I saw a YouTuber. He was explaining the situation, and he was like, if on Steam or on like any place that you own, like you go and buy games, right? Instead of saying buy, you put rent instead, because that's essentially what you're doing. You're buying the license to the game, which can be revoked at any point.
Yeah.
Or at the end of the game, it can just be dissolved, right? You can just get rid of it. So if you put rent in front of the game that you're buying, it shifts the tone of what you're actually doing.
Because you're not actually buying.
Because you're not buying it, right? You're just buying the license to be able to play the game, and that can be revoked. So, but in this initiative, a lot of the GDP that comes through for a lot of these big corpo developer game publishers, they go through the UK. And if this actually gets passed, because of course, like, this is just like the discussion point, they would be debating in Parliament about this.
This is
the
EU.
This is EU. Or sorry, EU. Sorry, not UK. There's actually another one for UK that's already like reached its goal. It's up to like 150,000 signatures, and it just needed 100,000. So that one's good.
So what happens? When this passes? Or when it got over the amount that it needed? What's supposed to happen now?
So technically, it hasn't passed because a lot of people put like fraudulent stuff in there, didn't put in the right information, or it was from like people from like the Americas or Canada or wherever, and they just put in fraudulent information. So
Finn.
A lot of people are assuming that around the 1 million mark, when it hit it, there was only actually 700,000 validated signatures.
Good, though. Still good.
Yeah.
And they're still validating them right now?
So once this is proposed and put into and like sent to Parliament to be reviewed, they then have to go through all of the votes and validate the votes that are like actually real.
Okay. But it's still good.
It's
still looking up.
Exactly. Because we have the end of July till the thing is done. So we still have a while.
Yeah.
If it can get up to 2 million signatures, it's official, right? Like that. Yeah, that's. But we need at least probably around 1.3, 1.4 million to get like a general comfortability around that area to actually get it passed. But it's as simple as that. And the drama behind it was that Pirate Software made this really.
I saw clips of it. I didn't really get his.
No, his points were just wrong.
I didn't really get it, if I'm being honest. I didn't really understand what the confusion
I don't know.
was.
It was literally in print, like what it was.
I still don't understand the motive behind it.
I don't know. He's a developer.
I mean, he's a developer.
He is a developer, right?
But he's also part of the gaming community, so why?
Right. I don't get it.
He's like, I like getting scammed, actually.
Yeah, pretty much. I saw a comment that it's being reposted everywhere, but he used to work for Blizzard, and then it's like you can take the Blizzard out of the man, but the Blizzard stays in the man or something like that. It's so goofy.
Okay, maybe I should have. The question we should have been asking the whole time is, who did he develop for? You know.
Yeah, true.
It's like that's the video game equivalent of having of using to work for the CIA, you know. That's the bad vibe equivalent.
But if you don't know what Blizzard is, it's a really.
Are you asking me if I don't know what Blizzard is?
No. I'm just saying like generally. Yeah.
Well, then look at the mic.
Blizzard is just it's a not a good company. I think that's where I'll put it.
Breast milk, right?
Huh? Okay. I'm not going to get into the details of what happened at Blizzard. That's like ancient history now.
HR Nightmare, right?
Yes.
Yeah, let's just say
HR Nightmare. That is what it. Yeah.
This is good, right? This is good.
But, it's just a generally good initiative that was blown over, and then Ross, the guy that's behind the whole initiative, he made a video saying how the initiative is dead, and then that video exploded, and then everyone hated pirate software, and now we're up to 1.2 million. And I think this was in 1 week.
Is the guy that started this a member? Is he in Europe?
I actually don't know.
I thought he was American. By the way,
he might be.
He sounded. I think what they're doing this through Europe because it's easier to petition, right?
Yeah. Because petitions actually work there. Yeah. Because then once this passes and once this goes through, it just starts the discussion, the debate over it, and it may take up to even 6-8 months before it actually is even written into law, and to then be passed by Parliament.
I mean, I have hope for this because Europe has a good track record with regulation like this, and more important for us personally, has a good track record with its regulation that
unlike
impacting
technology. In general,
general regulation, they had food. There's a story about them having to regulate eggs, and their regulation of eggs affects. Actually, here's a better example. That's more recent. When they regulated the chargers, when they said no more lightning cables. Stuff,
exactly. Yeah.
They have to make one charger. That changed Apple's policy for us at the U.S.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, we're not just going to be scamming the U.S. That's going to cost us more money than it's worth.
Yeah.
And so now we all have the same charger. So.
The government has a lot of power in this, and especially doing it in the UK where it's a lot of the actual market.
Best case scenario, and not an unlikely one, is that they pass this in the EU, not just the petition, but that too, and then it goes, and it passes, and they do the law stuff, and then it affects other markets, and they stop doing shit like this.
Exactly.
I don't know if that would apply in this case since it's more of a digital thing, so there isn't a cost to it. But I don't know. I'm not familiar with the kinds of games enough to make a statement like that.
Why wouldn't you, if you have to make
money?
Money. If you have to go on and develop or just do the bare minimum for sunsetting a game and getting an end of life plan, why wouldn't you put it onto
That's true. It would be weird if they made
just do it
the retirement home for
games.
Let's say WoW. If they made as if they're ever gonna drop that.
Yeah.
Say they make the retirement home for WoW in the EU. Why wouldn't they just let American players and Canadian players and Mexican players use it too?
Yeah, it would be weird. That's just dumb.
I mean, maybe they're just mean. Maybe
they could just be mean.
Yeah,
that was actually just out of spite at that point. I think.
Here's the thing.
For no reason.
Yeah, because they're already spending the money.
Yeah.
It's good to see this because this same kind of thing is happening in other industries, like movies. People used to own movies and TV shows with DVDs and stuff, but now with streaming, you don't really own the movie. You own a subscription to it, and then they can just take it away. And if, with Max, they had shows that are only on Max, but now when they take that off, now you can't find it anywhere.
Exactly.
Or unless you start pirating.
And that's the other thing. That's the other thing in this. That's also kind of introducing this other thing that if you don't own anything, what is pirating, right? It's not stealing if you're renting something.
Pirating was never really that bad to begin with.
Well, it's
but now it's more justifiable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because especially with films and stuff like that, because now it's expanding not just from video games, but it's also going into that film stuff. Yeah. For example, the Pokemon series. If you wanted to watch all of Pokemon, you have to go to 4 different streaming apps.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
Because season 1 to 4 is on one. It's season 2 is on another.
They always
season
do that
3
TV shows.
exactly.
Dude, I was watching through One Piece, and it's on Netflix, most of it, and then it got to a certain point, and then I was like, here's my more recent Google search, where to watch blank, and then I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go to Hulu. Dude, watching shit on Hulu sucks.
Yeah, it does.
I hate Hulu. It's I open up the app, ad. Oh, I watched the show, ad. Oh, I paused and kind of reran it. If you move back the arrow on where you were because you thought you missed something, they play the ad again.
Yeah.
I just watched the ad, you asshole. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they're 5-minute ads.
This is
cable, bro.
I feel like the internet is trying to turn into cable. You
YouTube,
can't use
oh my god,
or
YouTube.
Oh my god, YouTube is so terrible. I was playing a video last night because I was I was getting disease. I was going to bed, but I got an ad and I thought I was just gonna go like play through it and that it would be over, but I found out that if it just keeps going, you get 90 plus ads after the ad has already been played, so that they just keep cycling.
There's no more just listening to YouTube. You have to be active.
You have to be.
No. There's an ad. There's an ad. Skip. I got an ad.
So
I was actually on my way to bike here. I got an ad for like a supplement, and it was AI. It was an AI like old guy with muscles and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you want to be, I did Tai Chi. If you want to be like me, and it's like I hate you. And it was one of those ads, and it was one of the ads that there's an ad playing on the video, but there's also another ad that pops up on my like recommended. Where it's when you pause or something when it goes out, and I'm like, I hate this so much.
Yeah, you can't.
And
use
I know
the internet
YouTube is gonna get worse.
Oh yeah.
They're beta testing this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are beta testing 60 plus ads. Like 60, like they already have 30-second unskippable ads, and also the quality of ads is also deterring. Yeah. I've also seen a couple videos that have been happening recently of where there's bots that are giving CP like files to each other in YouTube comments.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, that's
and then there's
crazy.
the other bots that are like I don't want to even get into it. It's just
it's some deplorable
and
stuff.
YouTube isn't banning them. They aren't regulating them
No,
correctly.
they're regulating ad blockers more than they
including the AI channels.
Oh, and yeah, exactly.
And it's just you can't do anything about it. It's so annoying.
Yeah, that stuff's really terrible. Because, they're regulating more on ad blockers. They're trying to get rid of your ad blocker more than they are actually getting rid of the CP and comments of YouTube videos.
This is an institution so core to the modern day internet in total, and it's just horrible to see it go downhill.
Yeah. And also, now that we're talking about it, can I also talk about the quality of the ads? Oh my god, they're terrible.
Well, I talked about the AI one. They're not vetting ads anymore.
Well, I don't think they ever have.
They used to do a little bit more effort, I feel.
But also the quality of them has deterred so much. I saw an ad on a video of there was a guy who's going over the quality of ads, and he saw an ad.
Your feed, dude.
I know, but he found an ad of where it was a guy. Do you want to get 20/27 vision? And he was smashing a spoon against his eye. Or like diabetes or like there was a presentation of how to solve and cure diabetes.
Yeah.
But it's been taken off the internet, and then you have to go onto this website and buy like $100 bottles.
It's the dead internet theory, dude. The videos are going to be bad because they're going to be made by AI. And then the ads are going to be bad because they're made by AI. And then the comments are going to be AI, and they're going to be bots.
Yeah, and they're bots and AI.
And it's going to be this little cycle.
It's just being Ouroboros. It's just AI feeding off other AI.
And it's all going to fall apart because guess what? What's the point of advertising the bots? They're not going to buy your stuff.
Yeah.
And so then YouTube's going to collapse. And maybe they'll learn their lesson. Or maybe they're just going to start being greedy again.
Well, that's the thing. Unless, you get like 50,000 updates on like Twitter or something, and you just keep adding YouTube on Twitter. Because when you report something, when you report an ad, for example, there was an ad that was like advertising, like porn, and then someone reported it, and they did nothing, and they were like, this thing does not like breach our like standard for our ads, and it has been verified by Google.
And then
they went on then Twitter and got 50,000 updates. And they were like, "Oh, my bad. Oh, we will go take it down immediately."
Because here's the last layer of dead internet. The people, the ones regulating and banning and choosing to ban YouTube videos are also bots.
Yeah.
No one's even when you email them and you say, "Hey, where did this get age restricted, or why did this get banned or whatever, why did the video get taken down?" And the person replies and they say they went over it again, but it was a bot
But yeah,
a bot was checking its own work.
Yeah, yeah. It's just there's no sentient life that's going over this. Honestly, we could make an entire podcast episode, but I think that's a good stopping point.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely day.
Bye. Bye.